Okay, so here we are in my WordPress dashboard, and I am going to go over how to customize a new theme. Now, the first thing I normally do when I add a new theme is to go into the posts and clear out any posts that you aren't going to need. So any of the posts that come with a starter theme, I would go ahead and delete. Now, that being said, for training purposes, because this is a testing website for me and I do not have any blog posts set up, I'm going to leave these in here, okay? How you would delete those would just be to click on the check marks and then bulk actions, move to trash, and then apply, okay? But again, I'm going to leave them in here so we have some placeholders while we edit this theme. The next thing I do is go to Pages and do the same thing. I would get rid of any pages that I don't need. However, for testing purposes, training purposes, I'm going to leave these pages in there so we can work with them. If I was doing this for an actual site, and I would probably go ahead and get rid of the gallery. And honestly, that's all for this theme that I would get rid of, okay? All right, so next, to actually edit the theme, there's two different ways that you can edit your theme and pages, okay? The first one is a global editing, so the changes you make there can affect your whole entire website. And you can make changes to each specific page and post as well, like changing the layout, changing images, and things like that. So the first thing we're going to do is come over and look at our global settings, okay? And to do that, you come over here on the left-hand side, hover over Appearance, and then down to Customize. Okay, so now that we are in the area to edit our theme, let me show you what this theme actually looks like on the website currently, okay? So it's just a pretty basic theme. It's a free theme. It is not specifically for blogs, but we are going to edit it so that it will work for your blog, okay? One reason I did pick this theme is that it already comes with a opt-in area for like a freebie. And so in the future, when you do have a freebie, all you'll have to do is just edit this and you'll be able to add in that freebie, okay? So let's go back to our customization. Actually, one more thing I want to show you. When I was looking for templates, I found this in the starter templates, and this is actually a pro theme for Kadence, so it would cost if you wanted to purchase it. However, I really like it for a blog, the layout for a blog. It gives you your site identification, your menu, right at the very top, up here above the fold, it gives you some blog posts right away so people can decide if they want to click or not. And then it just goes on to show other things about the website. I kind of want to take this theme and make it similar. So when I am editing a brand new theme, I like to start at the top and just work my way through the list on the left-hand side. We're going to take this website here and turn it into a simple, basic blog website theme that is perfect to start out with and that you could come back and customize more later. So the first thing we're going to look at is colors and fonts. And I want you guys to remember, don't spend a ton of time here, okay? I know everyone wants their website to look pretty and just how they have it pictured in their head, but this isn't where you should spend the most amount of your time and energy when you're just getting started, okay? This is something that you can come back to in the future. Right now, you need to be focusing on creating content and things like that. However, I want you guys to have a nice, simple website set up so that it's a good foundation that you can build on and work on later. So back to colors and fonts. Okay, so I went ahead and set up a brand board for this website. Now, this is just a testing website for me, so I can like see how things work and break them and whatever else. But I went ahead and did a brand board just so I could use it for this tutorial. So let's flip over to Canva here. So this is my brand board. I just picked some pretty colors and did up a quick logo, chose some fonts, got some inspiration pictures. Now I did just pull this brand board off of Canva. They have lots of options for you, but I think we got a template for a brand board earlier in Blogging Foundations that you can use, okay? So I have all my elements, logo and everything set up here and all of my colors. So we're going to come back to our website, go into colors. Okay, so now you have these nice palettes here, these color palettes, okay? That's kind of different color. Let's work with palette number 1, all right? And so these first two are going to be accent colors. Think like this here, buttons, potentially your links and things like that. Okay, your little pops of color. This first dark color is going to be your text, and it's going to be your strongest text. So I usually recommend that this stays as black or a very, very, very dark gray. So it's easy. So there's a lot of easy to read. So there's a lot of contrast between your text and your background. And then that also helps with the ADA compliance for your website as well. Next one, text again. And then we get into backgrounds. Okay, actually, let's start with this background color first. Let's see if we change this. I always copy the original color in case I want to change it back. Here we go. So that's going to be your background for this particular block. And this one, some other ones like that. So let's change that back so it's not all crazy. And then you always want to have a white or a very, 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 very close to white color for backgrounds and things. This one looks like it's just another background option. Okay, so let's go ahead and put in my brand colors for this website. So let's come back over here and let's copy this one and we will put it here. And then now you don't have to, so like if this says accent color, you can use this color for more than what it defaults to. However, this is just the spots that we're putting them in. Okay, and I never use all of the like 4 different text colors. So I usually just pick one of them, not the one that you're going to be using for your basic text like this here. Okay, let's not change that. But just one of your text colors. I usually put my other accent color if I have another one, just so it's easy to get to and find. Okay, so see that one changed these colors up here, and we can change that later. It's not a big deal at all. You can specifically change your background colors here if you want to. Your content background color is going to be the color behind like your blog posts and things like that. So make sure you leave that as a nice white color. Let's see. Okay, and as you can see, when we change these accent colors up here, it went ahead and changed the link color down here. Now these are going to be like the links you would have like inside of a blog post or things like that, okay? And you can change those colors if you want to anything on our color palette or a completely different color. Okay, so once you have the color set up the way you like it, go ahead and click Publish. I almost clicked the back button. Make sure you click Publish after you do any changes, because if you leave this page without hitting Publish, you're going to lose all of your changes. So always publish. Okay, let's go back to our buttons. Okay, so our buttons are like this, and this button, and here's another button, lots of different options, okay? To change the color of those, it automatically gets set to my accent colors, but you can change it if you want to. So we could make it, bright orange, and you can see how that would change the initial color. And if we wanted to, we could change this to black, and so our hover would be black and orange. I don't want my colors to be that. So let's change it back to, oops, wrong one. Those will work for now. Okay, that's how you change your buttons. And then if you want to add a border, you can. You can change the font, or you can just leave it as inherit to keep the fonts from your entire theme. Okay, so publish. You can also change the text color right here, but since this is a darker color, we're going to leave the text as white. All right, next up, typography. So this is what the fonts are going to be for your website, okay? So on my brand board, I have it as Cooper BT and however you say that one. ABZ. Okay. So I already know that the Cooper font isn't in here, so I'm just going to change this to this font, and that'll be fine for this website, okay? Now, if you want to see what your font is going to look like without having to find it on the page, you just hit this little drop-down arrow and you can see it there. Now, my headings, I would really like it to be a little bit of a different font, probably a serif font. So let me find one real quick here. Okay, so one thing you can do if your theme in WordPress doesn't have the font that you chose for your logo and such, you can come over to a new tab and just search for Google fonts similar to Cooper BT. And I use Google fonts because I specifically chose Google fonts because WordPress has a lot of Google fonts in it. And so let's just look here real quick. Okay, they suggest Corbin, Oswald. Okay, so Arvo is a serif font. So let's try that. See. Arvo. Now, Ovo is one that might work. Yeah, okay, so that's okay, yeah. So that's going to be somewhat similar to our Cooper BT over here. So let's just stick with that for now. Okay, and that's gonna change for every heading that you have. Okay, so for instance, on this page, this is a heading and this is a heading. So when I'm editing my homepage, I'll probably go in and specifically change this to be my other font. But you could also leave it that way if you like it. You can change your font colors, you can change your size, you can change whether it's bold and italic, and things like that. And again, you can always hit the drop down button to see what it's going to look like. So you don't need to do anything else on that page, and then let's hit publish. And go back, and since we've taken care of everything in this category, go back again. So now we are going to work on our header. Okay, so I gave you a lesson on menus in another video. Okay, so we're not going to go over how to change this menu or anything. We're just going to work with it. What I am going to show you how to do is change up your logo, location of menus, and social links, searches, that kind of thing, okay? All right, so let's start with our logo. And you can just click on that element and it'll automatically open up the area that you need to go to edit that, okay? So we are going to click on change logo over here. And then we're going to upload files because I have a different logo to add. And see if I can find it. Go ahead and open that up. And then don't forget to add in your alt text. I'm sure that's not the correct alt text. I need to work on my descriptions. And then click select. Now it's going to ask you to crop this, but if you just click and drag, it can open up, it can be the whole image, okay? And then click crop. All right, so it went ahead and popped that in there for us. Now, this specific theme would probably work a little bit better with a portrait orientation logo, but this is what I have here, okay? If you want a little more white space around there, you can come over here to design and actually put a little padding in the top and the bottom. And that just gives you a little bit of more space in there, okay? And then if you want your site title and tagline to show up, you can change that here. Like you can do this and it would throw it in there. Obviously, I have it all in my logo, so I don't want that. You can also go ahead and change your site icon here, which is this little, they call it a favicon, I don't know how you say that. This little icon there, and you can just do change image, and I'm going to have to upload again, and I'm going to use this little element that I have. And again, you would add your alt text, and I literally have no idea how you would describe this. Easy blog design logo element. You should probably be more descriptive than that. However, it'll work for now. Okay, we don't need to crop, so you can either click crop image or skip cropping, either one. Doesn't matter. And there we have it. We have our little element up there in the top left-hand corner. Okay, so hit publish again. Make sure we don't lose that. Then we can go back and go back into our header again, okay? So if you notice when we click into the header area, we have this little section pop up down here. And there's a desktop tab and a tablet mobile tab. Now make sure when you're designing this that you are checking how it looks for mobile as well. We want our themes to be responsive, and such a huge percentage of the world consumes content on the internet via their cell phone or a tablet, and so we want to make sure that we're making a nice responsive website for them, okay? So you can see here there's 3 different layers, and let me show you what it would look like. We can we'll just add a button here so you guys can see. So that would add another section down here for your header. I don't want that. I'm going to leave it as just this bar. So we're just going to work in this section here. So we've got our primary navigation menu. We've got our logo in the middle. And then over here we have our social links and our little search magnifying glass. Now I like to include a search option on my websites just because when I go to a website, if they don't have a search function, it just drives me bananas if I can't use a search function. But that's up to you. If you want to change the settings for that, click on the little gear icon here, and you can change the way that it looks, whether it's bold or not. And you could also put in a label like search, and you would get a little box, like a name there so people knew what to look for. And then sorry, I forgot. Also for your little search guy here, you can make it bordered if you want to. You can change the initial color and the hover color here. You can change the background. You can put more space between it. Like if we wanted more space between it and the social icons, we could do that and they would all shift over. Okay. And let's go ahead and publish just so we don't lose anything. Okay, now to socials. So when you want to work on your social icons here or add them to a different theme, if they're already here, you would just click the gear icon. If you need to add them, you click the plus sign, and then since it's already in here, it doesn't list it up here, but let me just move it real quick. Hit the plus sign, and you can see now it's got a little option for you to put your socials in. So let's edit our social icons. Just hit your gear button, and now this has like all of them. If you don't have all of these socials, it's no problem. Just hit this drop down arrow and click remove item, and that'll take it off of your list, okay? And we'll take Twitter off. I don't have Twitter. Pinterest on there either. Actually, I'm just going to take it down to Facebook for now. Okay, and then you can add other ones as well. I mean, there's like all kinds of them that you can add here. You can change the way the icon looks. You can change the color. Go into design. Like I said, you can change the color, add a border around it if you want to, all kinds of stuff. So that's how you edit your socials and your search area. Don't forget to hit publish. Okay, so now let's go back. Our header looks pretty good, so let's go back to our main menu and let's work on the footer. So scroll down to the bottom. You have the same type of options here again. So you can see in this first layer, we've got our social sharing buttons again. You could go in and edit those and take out whichever ones you want or don't want, no problem. We've got our logo down here again, and that is actually a widget. I'm not going to talk a lot about widgets in this video, but you can remove these if you want to. You can edit them. I would at least change this to my, let's see, replace the image, open the media library. I would at least change this to my element for right now, so it's more of a similar color. Publish that. Okay, so now obviously this doesn't show up. This doesn't show up very well in this background, and this color doesn't really match the color of the rest of our theme. So if you come over here to design, you can change the background color. Okay, so let's go ahead and change this to this is kind of a green color. I'm gonna change this color to more of a like a charcoal gray kind of color. A little less gray. Okay, that'll be fine for now. You can always change it in the future. These menus are pulled out of your menus in your dashboard that we work on. And so if you want to change what menu is here or change what's in the menu, you could just choose a different menu here, and then you could change the links that are in the menu either in your dashboard or elsewhere in this area. And like I said, we have a whole nother video on menus, and so you can learn how to do that there. So for now, I'm just going to leave these links the way they are. So let's go ahead and hit publish. You also want to make sure you have a copyright at the bottom in your footer. So just copyright the current year and the name of your website. And then it's automatically going to have this WordPress theme link in here because it is a free theme. This one also has a email subscribe option down here. You can change the settings to that in the widget or remove it completely if that's what you would rather do. Okay, so that has the footer good enough set up for now. Let's go into our general settings. Now, in here, you can change the whole layout of everything. And so to start with, I would recommend just not messing with that at all. Just leave it the way it is. Unless you just really want a sidebar, I wouldn't mess with sidebar. Images, same thing. just leave those the way they are. So if you want a scroll to top option, you can do that here, and you can see if you enable it, it gives you the little icons, and you can change all those settings there. Your 404 page layout, don't worry about messing with the layout of that right now. Same with comments, breadcrumbs, social links. Now, you can also add in your social, the actual links for your socials here, and those would automatically populate up at the where we have our social sharing button set up. And then don't have to mess with performance either currently, okay? Post and page layouts, unless you just like really want to change something initially, again, I wouldn't mess with that right now, okay? Next up, search results. Wouldn't change anything there to start with. Okay, so then your site identity, we already took care of that, so we don't need to do anything there. Menus, like I said, there's going to be a whole nother video just for menus, so I'm not going to talk about those here. Widgets, like I said, not going to do much with those in this video either. Homepage settings. So if you went to your website URL, like your domain name, like easyblogdesign.com, and the homepage did not open up, this is where you would change that, okay? So some websites have like the blog roll or something set as to the homepage. So if it doesn't show up as your homepage, you would come in and change that here. Now your post page, I'll have to check the pages for sure, but usually it's the one titled theme, or title. Usually it's the one titled blog. So let's publish that. Back. Additional CSS, don't want you to mess with that right now. And import export, again, you don't need to mess with that right now either, okay? So that's got most of our global settings taken care of. Now I'm going to look at how to design and edit each individual page. Okay, so let's go ahead and just start with our home page. So come down here, we're at our pages, come down here to home and click on edit. Well, it's going to open up our editor for our home page. Move my picture so we can see what's going on here. Okay, so it's not going to show like your header and stuff because we don't design that here. We design that in the other area, right? So just ignore that part, that it's not there. And so this is going to be our first section here, okay? So if you click on here, okay, so if you click on this box, it shows you that this is a row layout, okay? So you can think of your web page, each like area, as a section. Like that's a section, this is one, this is one. Okay, so they're actually called row layouts. And then within those row layouts, we have sections, okay? And so your row layouts can be split into columns or different sections. And then, let me see if I can find the block. This one, let me see. Okay, so this is a section in itself. And then if you click on this, it goes back to the row layout. So you have a box and little boxes inside that. So you can have a box and little boxes, and that way you can just design each section separately. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do, now remember we've got that turquoise colored bar that goes right above here. So the first thing we're going to do is get rid of the things that we don't need, okay? So we don't need this. So let's just remove the row layout. We might keep that for now. We don't need this. Gonna remove it. Don't need this necessarily. Let's remove it. We might leave that there. That might be nice to have. A contact form. We'll have our own contact page, so we can remove this for now. And we definitely don't need a map, so we'll remove that also. And let's come back up here. So let's make this. Then I think next I'm actually going to just get rid of this full row layout. Actually, no, I'm just going to get rid of the inside section first. There we go. Okay, so now that leaves us with a box here that we can add stuff to. And so I'm going to actually come up here to I'm too tired. Okay, so then we're going to click the plus button here. And that is how we add different things into our blocks, okay? So this gives you your most recent and most often used little blocks that you use on your website. So obviously we don't have ones that we use a lot because this is a new site, right? So if what you see if what you want is not in here, then click on Browse All. And that's going to open this drop down. Now I am going to put the posts here, I think, to start with. So let's click on posts. And I think I'm just gonna do 3 to start with. Yeah, let's do 3. And we'll just do the newest ones. Now you could, if you wanted to just do like a certain category, you could pick a certain category here, but I just want my most recent blog post to show up first, okay? And then if you want to change this background image to match your content, make sure you're on the row image and then click on Style, Edit Image, and we can choose a different image for that background. Let's see, let's just choose this one. Select. You can see it popped in a different image there. And you can take this little circle and drag it around, and you can change which part of the image is showing, okay? Okay, so that's got our images up top. Next, I would probably bump this up one more time. So if you click these little arrows, you can move the full section or the whole row layout, okay? Or you can click these little dots and drag it to where you want it to go. So I want it to be right there. I do want to change the background color on this row. Whoops, wrong button. There we go. So I would just come over here to Style, and you can change the background color right here to something a little lighter, okay? And so for here, you would change it to like maybe a picture of yourself or something like that. You would just click on the image and then click Replace. And let's see what we have in our media library that we can put in here. It doesn't matter. Let's just pick a picture. Okay, select, and it's going to automatically put that in there, okay? Okay, now if you don't like this picture to have this arch on it, you can come over here, make sure you're clicked on the picture, come over here to Style, and see where it has border radius here? You can just take that, like if you put in 0, it's going to be a square picture, okay? Or if you wanted 100, it would just have a little bit of an arch on it. We'll just leave it with the arch because that's kind of fun. So then in here, you would just put like a little bit of, glad you found us, and this is what this website is about, and more text, and more text, and more text, etc. And then if you want to leave this link in here, this button here, it would just be linked to your About Me page, okay? Okay, so if you didn't notice, these two texts are not the same size at all. And so if you look on this one, if you click on it and go to Style, you can see over here that it's a font size of 26. So let's click on this box and come over here. Now this font size just shows different boxes, okay? And you can change the font size that way, or if you click on this little settings button, you can put in the correct size so it matches. Okay. All right, so now we've got a blog rule, we've got a little welcome message. Now, I would leave my freebie opt-in, and then you can edit it later. And I'm going to go ahead and just remove, yes. I'm going to remove this box. And then here, we are going to put our blog categories, okay? So this one is already set to decor, and this is what they call an info box, is how they have it set up, okay? This entire box should link to the decor category. So if you look here, okay, it has it set up as link content is the entire box, okay? And then you would put the link to your decor category here. And if you just type in decor, it should auto-populate with a link to that. And it hasn't, and that may be because we don't have that category set up, okay? So if this were my actual blog, this is what I would do. I would link each of these boxes to one of my blog categories. And if you don't have 4... Mommy, I don't know. Yes. And if you didn't have 4 categories, you can come up here and just change this to 3, and then you could delete this box, okay? And then delete this section, and then you would just have a row of 3 here, okay? Then you've got your freebie, and then I probably would just take out this box as well. So that would give you a nice basic homepage with the elements you need, the important clickable stuff above the fold. Okay, so let's update that. Now, the other thing when you are working with your pages or your posts and your pages, just like when we were editing stuff before, make sure you preview them in tablet size, okay, and in mobile size, so you can see if it still looks okay or not. Okay. And then you can preview it in a new tab for your desktop so you can see what your website is looking like currently. Now, if this was a real website, okay, I would change the background picture for here to be something that matches a little bit better. Brown doesn't really go with grays very well, so I would change that. But as you can see, you've got your header. We've got our blog post up at the top, the welcome message, my categories, and a freebie, okay? And I might consider flipping these categories around with these blog posts, but this would be okay for now. Okay, so I just went ahead and, like I said, deleted the background, and I think I'm just going to leave it like that. Let's update it and see what it looks like. Okay, that's a lot better than having the background image. I still don't love it. Like, we could do a lot better. But for the purposes of just setting up a basic, simple homepage, this is going to work for now. The reason that there's no image showing on this post right now is because either there is no image for it or they did not set the featured image. So make sure you always set the featured images for your posts so you don't have random images in your blog roll or random blog posts in your blog roll that don't have an image in them. So we've got our header, we've got some clickable blog posts to go read. We've got a, hey, I'm glad you're here. Like I said, I'd make these my categories, and we've got our freebie option opt-in there. Okay. All right. So let's just call that good for our homepage now. And let's go back to our pages and move on to our next one. Okay. Let's do our contact page next. Okay, so I would change out this background image to one that fits my services better. So we can try that real quick. Just go to edit image. And we'll just choose a different image. Select. You can see how it changes there. So they already have a contact form here. You don't necessarily have to have that to begin with. However, if your theme comes with a contact form, that's great. In the future, you can always add a plugin called WP Forms. That works really well too. Like I would take out this phone number option here and I would go ahead and edit this. Let's see, that's the subject row. So let's click on that. And yeah, here we go. Column width, we can just make that 100 so it fills up the whole space. There's all kinds of settings that you can use for each section here. The one that's most important would be the email settings. Make sure you're on the second email settings, and this is where you would put your email address that you want the contact forms to come to, what you want the subject of that email to be, etc. Okay? So those are kind of some basic settings there. It also doesn't hurt to just go ahead and put your email address on here so people can reach you that way if they don't want to use a form. Okay, and then on your contact page, they also have social links, which is great. I would change these images out and then make sure that these link to your specific social. And they've got their freebie opt-in again, and the map, we don't need a map. Take the map off. Okay. Update that page. All right, now come back to your pages and let's do our about page. Okay, so I would put a picture of yourself if you're comfortable with that. And then just put some information about you, who you are, what you can offer your customers, and just how you can help them and things like that. And then if you don't want these images down here, I would go ahead and delete those. Same with the map again. We don't need that. Let's delete that whole row. You could leave these are the categories again, and it wouldn't hurt to leave them here. Just make sure you put a link or links on here somewhere, giving people a task, a thing to do, what to do next if they're on your about page reading about you, okay? Let's update that. Go back to our pages. All right, and now let's edit our blog page. Now, by default, if you click on blog on your menu, if you're on the website, it's automatically going to just show up your latest blog posts, okay? To begin with, you don't need to change this page at all. Just leave it like it is. See how, which obviously looks very blank, right? But the way we have it linked in the beginning, like when we were setting everything up, it is automatically just going to put those posts in here, okay? So just leave it the way it is right now, and this is something that you can edit later if you want it to be a little more exciting or involved. Now, you also notice, like on our menu, you can click on the decorating category. That allows your visitors to just automatically go to a specific category that they want to see. I would, again, just leave all that kind of stuff alone for now until you get more comfortable and more content and things like that going. Okay, so that covers most of our major pages. Make sure you do set up a privacy policy. And we don't need our gallery page, so we're going to go ahead and just trash that. Okay, so that has your core pages set up. We've changed our fonts, our colors, our logo. We can come over here and refresh, and we should see our changes. Make sure that you always put something attention grabbing up here at the top. We call that being above the fold. It's prime real estate up there, okay? It's the first thing people see, and you need to grab their attention quickly. So make sure your blog posts have catchy, clickable titles, and there's something for people to click and get a hold of right here at the very top. So that's what our homepage looks like. Okay, so my task for you is to go into the theme that you chose, edit your fonts and colors if you want to, add a logo, change some of the settings that we talked about, and then go in and customize your homepage, your about page, all of your core pages. I know that is a big task, and it will take some time. And again, don't spend a ton of time on it up front. Now, if this was actually my website, is this how I would want it to stay looking forever? Probably not. I would like to add a little more design style to it, a little more pizzazz, but this is fine to start with, okay? This is perfectly fine, because just because you hit the publish button doesn't mean that you're going to have a ton of eyes on your blog right away, okay? You're just not. That takes time. And so just make something, just set it up simply, and we can come back to this and customize it later, okay? Happy editing!